Okay, so hi guys, welcome to yet another episode of the Space Your Tech podcast. The last time we had a session, we were interviewing the founder or co-founder of Nguvu Health, and today we have yet another interesting guest here, the CEO for Kyanda Africa, which is a fintech that is based in Kenya and doing very quite well in the fintech sector. So I will let my very able co-host Fred introduce himself, and then we can get into the tidbits of today's session with Collins Kathuli. Hi, Fred.
Yeah, hi guys. This is Fred Akwando. I'm the co-host to Mal, and today we are so privileged to have Collins Kaduli, the founder of Kyanda. So, Collins, when is your next birthday? When I read that article, that time you were 21.
Yeah.
When is your next birthday? Perhaps Spaziatech could send you a gift hamper. Maybe a cup or an umbrella. The rainy seasons are coming.
I would be waiting for the gift hamper. Yeah. So my next birthday is on August 11th, and that's when I'll be turning 22 now. At least I'm living the.
Dude, okay. Why do you sound so serious? I'm a founders should be sounding a bit serious. Like, okay, Kyanda is a serious company. but yeah.
He doesn't sound like your normal 22-year-old,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
I think it's the corporate world which has changed me, to be honest.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, I'm not that serious as most of the people think. So we always have like that time when you are the normal you, but when it comes to the corporate space, you definitely have to paint a good picture for the company.
Right. Okay, we hope you can mix a bit of those here because
Yeah, cool. No worries.
Sure. So first questions first, for those who maybe have not heard about you and don't know what Kyanda is. So who is Collins Kathuli and what is Kyanda Africa?
Cool. So Collins Kathuli is now a 21-year-old young innovator. He's a software engineer. He's also an entrepreneur. He's very passionate in the tech space. And he's the CEO at Kyanda Africa. Kyanda is basically a neobank sort of a platform. So we are a fintech operating in Kenya and South Africa at the moment. And we enable people to digitally send money to each other, pay for their bills, pay for their goods and services, deposit at any Kyanda merchant and withdraw, and pay for their bills basically at any Kyanda financial access point. So basically that's what we do. It's more of a wallet. So anyone can access it from the Play Store, from a USSD, from other channels that we have, including chatbot, etc. So anyone can access the platform. They can use the platform at any point. As long as you're in Kenya and South Africa, you gain access to all these services that we have on the platform. So that's Collins and Kyanda in a nutshell.
Okay. For the normal, because Kyanda is now 3 years, it was founded in 2020, right? February?
Correct.
Around that time, yeah. So for the normal 19, 18-year-old, you're not really thinking fintech at that age. I know I wasn't thinking fintech. I was, navigating the normal life of an 18-year-old. So how did you get to be starting a company at 18 in the fintech industry? Fintech is a buzzing word right now, but 3 years ago, it was just, getting that hype. So how did you found a niche to start a company in the fintech industry at just such a tender age? What information? It must have been, started by a lot of information you had at that age, or maybe your background. So how did you get into the software engineering space and eventually the fintech, where you get to a point of starting a company?
Cool. The story behind it is quite interesting. Back in high school, or rather back in primary, I always wanted to be a news anchor when I grew up. And I remember I used to use my mom's mobile device. I closed the room's curtain and I started imitating the likes of Lillian Mooley Kanene, I think that time she was very new on the screen, so I used to enjoy imitating her. And now in the process of editing these videos and maybe now uploading the videos that I took imitating her, I thought of now doing it to our website, and that's how my interest to getting to know more about website came in. So I started using the online drag and drop tools, maybe just to get something uploaded somewhere. And years went by. I was done with primary and I joined high school. I was in Lukenya Boys High School. I chose computer studies as a subject, only to realize that this would be the subject that will discover my programming talent. So still in the process of now getting to know about drag and drop tools for websites, etc., I continued with the same process in school, basically. So anytime when I was free, I used to sort of engage the computers lab and continue developing websites and using the available YouTube and Google. So that's how I ended up getting interested in computer. And so somewhere around Form 2, I joined the Science Congress Club, and now I started doing projects basically now for the science team, kwenda funky, kufanya hizo vitu zote for the school. So it was quite interesting. So I did my first project in Form 3 that I presented to the president. The president then, that was Uhuru. And it was a school telephone booth, just a small thing where people would call their parents and so I did it, and that was in Form 3. I couldn't wait to participate again when I was in Form 4. And came Form 4, I was having, the pressure for studying since it was the last year in school. So I had a project in mind, which was an airtime vending platform. It wasn't for commercial purposes, but just taking it to the function, and that's it. So I paused around that year. I didn't do anything, and I picked up my idea once I was done with high school. That is around November. And 3 months down the line, again, using the Google and the School of YouTube, I got an app up and running. It was basically just for airtime. People would just buy airtime and that's it. So that's when, by February 2020, we had an app running and we deployed it on Play Store. The first day we had around 50 clients. This was just more close friends, close high school friends, family, just utilizing the platform. So that's pretty much the journey of how we got to launch an app by February 2020 when I was still 19 years old.
I want to ask this question. Where is Lukenya High School located?
Kenya is in the semi-arids of Machakos. It's neighboring Leicester University main campus.
Fred, you want to take your kids there? Maybe they will be founders too.
I don't know. Maybe it's the high school, or maybe it's the because I think some the background, as you're saying, it plays a very, very great role in some of the things that we come to do later in life. And I also discovered, Collins, that you are in ALA, Africa Leadership Academy, and you went to South Africa, did you?
Yeah.
How's the experience, by the way?
Okay, let me pick it up now from February 2020. First of all, Lukenya School has a history of producing so many founders. It's not only me, we have quite a lot in the market that have really done quite well. So from February 2020, it was just a few days then COVID struck us. So I remember in between, we more of included a wallet on the platform that we had generated then, just for people still to buy airtime and send each other money just to buy airtime. So people out there misinterpreted what we had built, and they saw now this one is a wallet where people can send money for free. And COVID was here. People wanted to send monies for free and save that extra coin since, that coin by then, we knew how important 1 shilling was during COVID. So that's how we went viral. People misinterpreted the concept that we had on a good note. So people started using the platform, sending money to each other. And we even got discovered by an awards. It It was fintech by Foya. We won that award in somewhere in November the same year. So it was a fintech fund of the year East Africa. We bet people who've been there in the market for over 11 years. I won't mention them, but yeah, we have the likes of Festival, iPay. Those guys were also in the same category. But yeah, we bet them for that East African award. Even people from other countries, Uganda, Rwanda, we bet them basically. So yeah, so we grew from that award, just blasted us out there in the market. Everyone was now talking about us. And now that's how the numbers steadily increased. Later on, 2021, going on, we got discovered in different places, including, awards that recognize young students. And among them is the Anzisha Prize by the African Leadership Academy, which we were selected as the top, as the cohort of 2022. So yeah, we are pretty much active in the cohort. They're pretty much coaching us in the business space just to understand more about different ways to maneuver as young people, how to balance with school, and among other business tactics that we have. So that's how we got pretty much got selected for the Anzisha Prize. It's more of a prize, so it takes around 3 years. So it's more of a school, yes. As you mentioned, it's African Leadership Academy. It's driven by the university. So yeah, it's more of an interesting thing, to be honest, to participate for the next 3 years.
Oh, so you study there, or is that where you go to university, or you in another university?
At the moment, I'm at KCA University here in Kenya, but Anzisha, the ALA, we sort of have, it's more of classes, to be honest. So we sort of have sessions nearly throughout, just engaging with different people from their team. A person who is maybe teaching you, if it's business, you scale down in the business, you go deeper into your business. They enable you to, it's basically, to be honest, it's like a school. So you need to also attend, do assignments. So it's a whole process, to be honest. So it's more of I'm doing 2 universities at the moment.
How does that work? You are in LA, you are in KCA, you are running a company. Is something suffering? And how are you able to, just balance everything at the same time?
The pressure is quite real, especially when you have a company operating in 2 countries. You have sort of 2 universities to attend to. The pressure is quite real, to be honest. But yeah, proper scheduling for me works, and it has been working all along. So I schedule myself almost like a month or 2 months away, just to ensure that nothing contradicts with my school, nothing contradicts with my work. So I need to get things in place, otherwise I'll just mess up in just seconds. So yeah, scheduling for me is what has been working perfectly. Yeah.
Fred?
Yeah. So a while back we hosted this very proficient lady called Rita Njeri, and Rita Njeri works with a startup in London. She's the customer success there, and we quite dissected the fintech space, especially in Africa, because their company has operations in Africa, and we were kind of looking at what goes into the costs of even sending money, the mobile transactions. And I read an article this morning where your company kind of reduces the cost of mobile transactions or payments by up to 80%. So how do you do that? And why can't companies like Safaricom or Airtel kind of adopt this same style to bring the cost of mobile transactions down? Because honestly, they're quite large and they're quite big, and with the recent introduction of bank charges again, as in I think Kenyans are squeezed. Would you tumia nini gani? Maybe we should start using Kyanda.
We should use Kyanda.
Yeah, Fred, that's really a selling point to us. As I mentioned, back in March, we were targeting once back in March 2020 when COVID struck us. We were more of a low transaction cost model from the word go. We were just like a month old. So we were saving you that extra cost. We were even giving you a discount when you buy airtime. So from the word go, Kyanda's model has been a low transaction cost. So we scaled up on the different services that we have on the platform, including sending money. We do have our own ecosystem where I can deposit at any Kyanda agent anywhere, maybe within your neighborhood area. You can go give them cash for free. They'll deposit into your wallet for free. And you can also send money within Kyanda's ecosystem, probably from Kyanda to Kyanda, Kyanda to another merchant. But this one will be now on a lower cost. So that's one way in which we save the users the transaction cost. So secondly, when you move money from the Kyanda ecosystem now to maybe a banking or mobile money, the way you've mentioned, M-Pesa and Airtel and other services, basically, it's quite costly for us to deliver the monies there, but we have sort of negotiated rates with the relevant telcos so that we move more volume. So we can deliver these monies to these telcos at almost 80% slashed transaction cost. How? Safaricom, for instance, if you send 70,000 via M-Pesa to M-Pesa, you might be charged something like $100, which is more of $100. And when you use our platform to send the 70,000, you get charged something like 30 shillings, around 0.3 US dollars. So you find that we've saved you almost 70% transaction cost. So many people tend to get that benefit from our platform. And the reason why Safaricom and the other providers cannot do this, from the word go, for them, they are already operating, and they cannot just come in one day and just decide to slash all transactions to zero, or rather to go lower. It will fracture or even puncture their business model, and they even go into high losses. So it's something that they cannot just come and do it immediately. And when you, for instance, let me give you, like for the banks, for the last 2 or so years when we've been sending money without transactional charges, still the banks were being charged by the relevant telcos for the amounts. So the bank, in a way, was like paying the transaction cost on your behalf, which was a big loss. If you look at the numbers that the banks are generating, I don't know if they've sort of exposed this outside there, but the banks really got punctured by the transactional charges thing. So that's why they reintroduced it. And when there was sort of sort of a court case and everything, because the banks were really bleeding out. So they really needed to get the ways that they are generating more money on their side. Otherwise, they have branches all over. They have people to pay. They have, I mean, when you look at the whole banking ecosystem and the whole mobile banking ecosystem, for them to lower transactional charges, it might hinder them, and it might be a challenge. Unlike us, where we have a low transaction cost model from the word go. So we know very well how we operate and how we make our monies. So yeah, I think that answers your question, Fred.
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank you so much. I want to follow up with a quick question, and this is something that I even asked Tolulupe in the last conversation. What informed your logo? It's a very it's a pretty interesting logo.
Kyanda Africa, yeah.
Well, so Kyanda, let me first begin with the name Kyanda. Kyanda is an English version of Chanda. The original name should be Chanda. The same way you won't call Chalo Kialo. I mean, it's a way of kuifanya unatweng in a way.
Oh,
the same way
yeah.
I'm assuming it's been influenced by Kamba language.
Yes, and it comes from the Kamba language. And the same way you won't call Chandarana Kyandarana. So I mean, you get the logic. So Kyanda, from Kyanda or Chanda means a stream of river in Kikamba. So back then, when I was in high school and I went home, I used to go hang around a lot when I was free, just to go by the riverside. Because I didn't grow up in the town center. I grew up in more of a rural setting. So I used to go walk out. I mean, for me, I grew up in a rural setting, so meaning I didn't have computers, TV, Wi-Fi like most of the young people have right now. So napata hawezi toka kwa nyumba. For me, nilikuwa natoka naenda kukula maembe, napitia huko kwa mzee, just hanging around. So that's how I grew up. So I got interested with the name Chandani. So Chandani means like within the river. The river banks, a small river bank. So that's how I got up with the name. And yeah, I selected it later on when now I was pretty much coming up with the platform. And yeah, we tried to look for the best logo. We had over, I don't know how many logos. And by the time we settled with this logo, it was blue in color and gray before we rebranded. We actually rebranded when we launched in South Africa to get the pink. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got influenced with our logo. That's how our logo was born.
Interesting.
Nice. Now we know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And how big is the team right now at Kyanda?
So we grew up from two. When we launched, we were only two, and we operated for some time, almost a year plus. When a year and a half when we were two of us.
Yeah.
Then it started now growing after the 1.5 year mark. We started growing, bringing more people, young people especially, because for me, I thought working with young people is a green light for me, because the people are so vibrant, people are so out, they think outside the box. So we grew from two people. Today we have a team of 10 in Kenya, and we've onboarded a team of 5 in South Africa. And that's the team that is operating in Kyanda Africa at the moment. And most of these people are so young.
Yeah.
Some of them, yes, have graduated. They are ahead of me, but within the early 20s. That's pretty much the target talent that we look for.
So
we don't look at the CVs or the experiences that you have. No, we build that experience that probably Microsoft will be asking for 2-3 year experience from somewhere. We build that experience for you. So we always scout for young people. I mean, people approach us, they tell us they have this talent and they have nowhere to practice it. We give you a chance, we give you a platform. Let's work together. So that's how we choose our talent.
That is actually how we will be improving talent in the African space. Instead of somebody telling you to come with 5 years, you're the people who are making this 5 years, appear on that CV. So that is very impressive. So assuming you guys have an office in South Africa, an active office with 5 people there.
Yes,
So,
I'm actually headed to South Africa next week to open our physical office. For the last 7 months, we've been operating on a workspace, the serviced offices, but now next week we'll be opening our own office now in South Africa.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Any
We already
openings for
have
software engineers?
one.
Any
Sorry?
openings for any openings for software engineers, maybe in the East African space or South African space?
Yeah, we always, I mean, for us, we don't sort of have, we do have those openings. But at the moment, we don't have, because we've been targeting, especially for instance, for South Africa, we've been given more of a team by the Africa Leadership Academy. So the whole team is basically being born from the Africa Leadership Academy. So that's some of the supports that we get from the Anzisha prize that we have. So when we have openings, we always brand them outside there. We always advertise for the positions. But for us, if you want to work with us, I mean, we need to see you as a young person. We don't necessarily target people with the experiences. No, we love young people like me, people who we can laugh. It's not all about seriousness in the work office. It's not all about when a CEO comes in, everyone is now tensed off. No, for us, it's an interactive session. And when you have a work environment that is interactive, even the work itself it's just done automatically. So that's what we sort of do, and that's how we target and advertise our openings.
Interesting.
Yeah, cool. And when you started, in an article that I was reading this morning, that one of the challenges was raising the cash for marketing, because marketing is quite a budget. And I don't know whether you have raised any funds lately, and kind of the whole process of raising the funds, and maybe the challenges, some of the lessons that you have emerged out of that whole process, that somebody listening to this podcast who is a founder can kind of learn from you.
Cool. So for the last 3 years, we have never done any external raise. So we've been operating on the revenues that we generate, and that's how we even expanded to South Africa. But yes, when we began, I remember I had around, was it 15,000 Kenya shillings? And that's the amount which I would say confidently I started with. Registering the company, by then it was a business name, so around 800 bob, and just having I think after all that, I remained with around 5,000 bob, which was basically being used as float across to supply airtime to the different customers. So that's how we grew. From 15,000, we started generating revenue, talking to close family to just fund the business on sort of an agreement basis. And yeah, that's how we grew. We've never done any external raise, but at the moment we are doing our raise round, and I would tell you confidently to just wait for the news that is about to arise from there. The
Yeah,
process is
yeah. We'll be looking out for that news. Yeah.
yeah, the process is not that easy. I think our fundraising process began, I think, over 6 months ago, and the process is not quite easy, especially when you're in the fintech sector. You're hotcake to so many investors, but at the same time, the investors that you're talking to, not necessarily here in Kenya, but in different areas, they might not see the benefit that you're trying to build at the moment, and they will delay you in like sort of giving you the funds. So, I mean, for any advice to any founder out there, most investors want to see traction. Don't just have an idea and think that tomorrow you'll just raise 50 million Kenya shillings from an investor just from an idea. No, they really need to see that this idea that you have is working. It is paying at the moment. It is serving x amount of clients at the moment. So generate traction before you think of doing any fundraising. Secondly, fundraising sometimes is not good because you give out the company's ownership in a way, depending on how you structure the deal. But if you have the capability of generating your own revenues and then to a revenue standard where you're sustaining the whole business, then I think there's no need for you to do any external raise. External raise, yes, they are good. They give you more cash value to market yourself intensively. But if you have the capability to just retain your own sort of revenues, more of your paying everything, you're doing your marketing as expected, I would advise you for around 1 or 2 years to 3 years, just do sort of your bootstrapping, so that when you approach an investor, they see for the last 3 years you've been doing this sort of bootstrapping, you've not done any external raise. Now let's now give you these funds. So from there to negotiate even a deal with an investor is very quick, and the process might even be less than a month. Then you just been there, you're just 1 year old, 2 year old, you don't have customers, you don't have enough paying customers, and you want to raise funds. It's a risk to the investor, so that's why they tend to shy off. So yeah, that's pretty much the advice that I would give founders there. Generate traction for around 2-3 years, and now take this whole concept to an investor, and they will listen to you very quickly.
Very interesting. And your user acquisition story is also quite interesting as well, because you say that you started with family and friends, and that's quite impressive. Even I would imagine even to the ears of an investor. What is your user base now? Like a rough estimation?
Okay, I remember from the first 50 clients that we served, as of November last year, we had around over 5.5 million unique transactions. This one means these are like unique users that have used the platform for the last 3 years. So that's pretty much the customer base that we have. And we've done, I don't know if I can give the approximate number of transactions that we have, but yes, we do have some stable or rather recurring customers who are pretty much above 1 million number of users that pretty much use the platform on a frequent basis. So yeah, growing from 50 day one to over 5 million unique users as of last year.
Interesting.
Okay.
Is that is that like in totality both Kenya and South Africa, or just the Kenyan base?
Yes, Kenya and South Africa.
Oh, nice. So how different was it getting from the market in Kenya and navigating the South African market? Because I'm sure the regulatory, rules in Kenya, the East African space, are quite different from the ones in South Africa, in as much as both countries use the wallet, sending money. That is quite common in both spaces. But how easy or difficult was it navigating East African space and the South African space, as
Cool.
far as
So
customer acquisition
yeah,
is concerned?
all right, thanks. So the market in Kenya and South Africa, as you've mentioned, it's quite different, regulatory-wise, even the market. Number one, in South Africa, let's first begin with they don't have mobile wallets, as I'd mentioned earlier. M-Pesa tried to work out there, it never worked out. But we have people who were working with that sort of rollout
Yeah.
that are within our ecosystem. But yes, South Africa is a bank-dominated country. So everyone in South Africa uses their bank cards. Like literally everyone. Talk of the mama mbogas there, talk of the taxi drivers there, the matatu touts there. Everyone has a bank card. And the banking ecosystem in South Africa is very, very expensive. For you just to go and deposit money to your bank, you'll be
Cost
charged.
you money.
Yes, for you to transact, you'll be charged. For you to withdraw, you'll be charged. So we saw. I mean, this is some sort of a gap that we should address.
Yeah.
Mobile money here in Kenya, you just go deposit for free.
Mm.
I mean, I'm just giving money to be credited to my wallet. I don't see the need for me to get paid. So some of these things are influenced our approach to South Africa. Regulatory wise, South Africa is quite straightforward. We don't need to have I mean, it's quite easier to get regulated and get the necessary approvals in South Africa than in Kenya. In Kenya, even for us, we are still struggling to acquire the relevant licenses, having even commenced our processes back in May 2020 when we saw that we operate in a wallet. But yeah, the regulation on the processes here in Kenya are quite different in South Africa. In South Africa, well structured, very fast. They are so eager to give more licenses to businesses, no matter the competition that you're bringing into the space. But here in Kenya, sometimes the regulation or even the regulator are quite slow, and it's in a way it restricts us from growing and scaling quite quickly. Having having some big giants like M-Pesa, some sort of big
Yeah.
mobile money agents, I think in a way they sort of try to reduce the process so that they discourage people from getting these licenses. Because even when you look at the people who get licensed, for instance, there are some guys, I'll just give names. When you look at
Yeah.
Pesapal was operating for 11 years and they got their license. Was it on the 12th year? We have people like Pepe who've been operating for so many years, over 15 years, but they got their license so late. So even for you, a young fintech, to make matters worse, you're just 20 years old and you're going to apply for a license. I mean, for sort of a banking license. In a way, it looks like a joke. So I pretty much think that's why our process here in Kenya has been delayed. But yeah, we do have the necessary support from the regulator. They've given us like more insights and more ways to ensure that we're operating, but on the standards of the regulations that they would want us to operate. So we sort of work with other licensed operators here in Kenya. In South Africa, we are pretty much nearly almost concluding to get our license there. In just less than 3 months, we did our application, and the process is quite straightforward on that side. Yeah. So on the
Okay.
regulation side, that's
Yes.
that's how that's how we the different markets in South Africa.
Interesting. You've spoken about competition, and then the fact that a 19-year-old is going into an office and requesting a license. So, how have you navigated that? Because I must I am assuming that for some of the species, it's been really difficult with your age navigating them and getting the business to where it is at the moment. And competition wise, in Kenya, we have some pretty solid companies on the ground as far as the fintech space is concerned. Some you have mentioned. How has it been in the South African space? I'm sure you're not the first people to try and implement the solutions that you have. So how has it been in a new environment, especially the political situation in South Africa? How has it been trying to integrate Kyanda Africa inside South Africa?
Cool. So let me answer the first question of how a 19-year-old penetrated all this. I remember the first day I opened our bank account, I was dismissed by our bank. I went in there, I wanted to open a bank account. They saw my age and they dismissed me immediately. Like they told me it's more of, this is not serious. So I had to go get someone a bit older than me. By then I think I was 18 when I was trying to sort out this banking and everything. But yeah, so I got dismissed. That one, I am never afraid to say that. I got dismissed by a bank just because of my age. But today, they pretty
I'm so
much run
sorry.
after
What?
me. So I can't complain.
Ah,
Dismissed by a bank. I involved all adult guys to help me set up the account. And yeah, so it's been a challenge. Some places you go, you get dismissed. Some places you go, some of the guys don't even believe. Even for me, just opening up an M-Pesa pay bill with Safaricom, they had so many questions.
mm-hmm.
So it was a whole process for us to just set up. And so you can just imagine if a bank dismisses me, what happens to big giants who pretty much operate in like let's say the regulators in the different space. They see you as a young person
Yeah,
and they'll just dismiss you. So and they won't they don't even have a pity heart. So that one has happened quite a number of times. And the worst case was in the bank where I just went in to open an account. I'm of age. It's not written somewhere that I'm not supposed to open a bank account. So yeah,
yeah,
that's how I got dismissed. But anyway, we still maneuvered our way through. And secondly, how we our competitive advantage in the space. Yeah, we do have solid partners. We do have people who've been there in the ecosystem that are really challenging the fintech sector here in Kenya and in South Africa as well. But it depends with how you serve your clients basically. Um, if you're a high transaction cost platform, and Kyanda
yeah,
is here offering you very cheap solution, I think that one is enough just to understand. I mean, for an individual user, it's up to them to choose what platform to use. If I'm saving 70 bob on this platform and I'm being charged an extra 70 bob on this platform, I will opt for the cheaper platform. So that's one of the ways that we've really used to penetrate our market. Secondly, we've also had like the channels that we have. We have both an offline and online channel. Whether you have an account with Kyanda or not, you can still utilize Kyanda. So it's not limited to you being a Kyanda user. So how we target even different groups, special groups, the old people, people who cannot read and write, the special groups where people who the physically disabled, the visually impaired, they can also use the platform and also feel financially included. So it's not only you just approaching a market where these people are not included on the platform. So and that's it and that's it. So for us, we've sort of targeted everyone, special groups, young people, old people. Talk of any place that you need to make any transfer, we are there. So that's a second way in which we've really um, embraced on and makes us different from the other competitors in the space. And that's especially in
yeah.
Kenya and South Africa. So for the South African space, yeah, bringing a new ecosystem was really interesting for them. They saw, I mean, for you to use your mobile in South Africa just to make a payment was
Mm-hmm.
really interesting for them. So I remember the first day we sort of had a market outreach. We were giving out like a 30 rand bonus. That's around 200 shillings. So when you download our platform, we give you 200 shillings, and we tell you walking into
Ah,
any of our agents out there and just buy yourself Coke and something and walk out. So for them just to experiment that, it was a joy for them. We even took
mm,
videos. People could not even believe I can just walk in with my mobile and pay and walk out.
make
So
payments. Yeah.
quite still in South Africa, as I mentioned, it's quite virgin in South Africa, and that's why,
Mm-hmm.
in a way, the South African space looks more promising than Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's how we penetrate Kenya and South Africa.
Interesting. Fred, do you have any question as a follow-up for that?
No, not really.
Have I answered all questions? Nimemaliza kila
Yeah,
kitu.
hujamaliza
Unashangaa.
kila kitu. Hujamaliza kila kitu, but it's quite impressive too. Okay, the only question that I would, Maze, by the I was looking at your LinkedIn and you have like 9 awards, as in
I know.
how, as
Yeah,
in
so
okay, yeah, how? Now 9 awards from where? Like
How? From where?
and how?
He was nominated for top
Yeah.
40 in the 40 men in
Hey.
Africa under banking
Hey.
and finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you get the right people who will not dismiss you, and people who want to support you, they will guide you through, they will walk with you, they will show you different places, and that's how you get recognized in different awards, events, and that's how you get to win them, because you're the youngest in the space and you're disrupting even more than the people who've been there in the ecosystem. So when you meet the right people, when you meet the people who want to support young people, not people who are dismissing young people, to be honest. So that's how I got recognized in different places, and pretty much that's how I've bagged all these awards, to be precise. I've gotten awards even where I'm being forced to attend for an event in, let's say, Canada, but I'm unable to go. But yes,
Ah,
you know very well you're going to bag that award. So such branding and the exposure, if you win this award, like let's say somewhere in Canada, someone will just be interested with you, and they'll
yeah.
see the vision that you have, and they'll pretty much now come again and support you even more. So that's how I've been able to bag all these awards, Fred.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the most difficult thing about running a startup like as big as Kyanda? I imagine it's not like it's not a cup of tea like doing
Mm.
it every
Especially
day, every day.
with
Yeah.
branches in other countries.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be easy.
Oh, wow, wow. It's not that easy, to be honest. There are some of the things that we were not taught in school, and these are things that if I had superpowers, I would make sure that they are taught in school. Number one is hard work. Hard work is never mentioned anywhere in any of the Kenyan curriculum syllabus. It's not a topic somewhere. But this is something that I think all
Inakuwa
teachers should
mention kwa
embrace.
moto.
And
Hard work
yes,
pays
sasa ilikuwa
kwa moto.
mahali kwa moto, inaandikwa kwa front page za vitabu, but it's not a subject.
They don't
Hard
elaborate
work
on it.
it's like a whole subject. Badala ya kwenda kufunza watu chemistry ngumu ya ions ya vitu zenye to be honest, I never use ions where I am today, but there are some things that really need to be very important in the education ecosystem. Hard work being one of them. I mean, teachers, in as much as they are teaching all these easy and hard things in school, they should have this as a subject. Tell students and show them the different ways of approaching different things. So one thing that I would say is hard work. For you to operate any company, you need hard work. You need to understand yourself. You need leadership skills. You need like an ongoing spirit. I don't know, a psyche that keeps you going every day. So that has been my more of my way. I've really had to put down so many things just to focus on what I'm building. Because if you believe in yourself, get a team that believes in you, then pretty much you have nothing else but to do the work. So the hard work sometimes comes with sleepless nights, comes with, I mean, so
Early
many
morning.
challenges. You fall sick due to fatigue. I mean, it's so many things that are go. But these are some of the things that people will never see on the screens, will never see on the media, will never hear from anyone. But yeah, some of these things are pretty much on the behind the scenes of the founder, to be precise. So it depends with how you get that insight from that founder. So for me, hard work has been everything. And if I had that superpower, to be honest, today, Fred, I can have that as one of the subjects in all schools, primary, CBC, high school, university. Hiyo tu inatosha tu, hiyo itakupea marks zote.
Interesting.
Yeah, wow. And the aspect of managing such it's a sizable team that you have at Kyanda. And Space Tech, we're a team of 9 plus other auxiliary guys who work on
Members.
here. Yeah, here
Yeah.
and there who touch this and this. And sometimes it's quite tasking because the meetings, the deliberations, the strategy, and we are just a small community. So I'm just imagining the same thing for Kyanda, like you're operating in 2 countries and you have this team that you're setting up in South Africa. Like it is so it is yeah, it can get overwhelming, right?
For sure. So it depends. I think I'd mentioned earlier, scheduling works. You need a team that understands how you do your thing. So for me, the team understood that I'm good in scheduling. I'm good in doing my thing. I'm good in doing my thing using my own timetable. So pretty much, if you have the right schedules, if you have a team that believes in your vision and you share the same vision, then Fred, you can easily do any task. Everyone knows their task. Hakuna haja ya kushindia ukifuatilia asking, how far are you with this? No. At the start of the day, this is what you'll be working on. At the end of the day, you report back, this is what I've been doing. That's it. So that's how we pretty much work as a team. And I think this one has worked for me. So scheduling, everyone knowing their own schedule, their own deadlines, their own timelines, their own the mantra for everyone to keep working and making sure that everything is up to date, I think really matters. And for you to get that, you need to have a team that believes in you, to have a team that you share the same vision. Then it becomes very easy for you to maneuver all these tasks.
And what about the aspect of the money management, like at your young age, and handling all that cash? Okay, I believe that Kyanda it's handling maybe more revenue than it used to handle when you began. And there's always this temptation when, especially with a startup, the moment that the money starts coming in, some founders do not really know how to demarcate between personal expenses and the expenses of the business. And it has gobbled up very promising business. Well, we read about Kune, where the founder was like taking people for road trips. And so how have you had any challenges where you're saying, man, I just need to unwind today? You're petty cash.
Let me take a trip to Dubai.
Yeah. Are there such temptations for you, Collins?
When I saw such temptations coming, I got someone on the finance side, and I handed over, including the banks and everything, just to make sure that it's not being handled by one person. So in such cases, yes, for founders, and we've really seen not only even Kun Foods, we have so many places and so many startups that are still suffering from the same issue. But the best thing, I think, which has worked for me, when I saw now we are generating more revenue and doing all these things, we had a proper guideline we sat down as a team, the management team. We saw, okay, fine. If this is the structure, then let's lay it out properly. Let's know where this and X amount of money should be going at what time, and what are the necessary approvals that are required. So we have like sort of a management for this. So we have someone who is not me handling the finances. So that's the best way. Get someone, yes, not them handling fully. Of course, you will need to approve. So it's a bit easy for you to manage in a scenario where if you're the sole founder, then it becomes a bit tricky. But if you can get someone, especially someone within your team, your CFO, your chief financial officer, or someone within the financial ecosystem that is within your platform, can be part of the approval team. And with that, you'll never go wrong in your financials, basically.
So would you advise someone to a founder to be drawing a salary, or they wait for the year end to get the bonuses?
Yes,
the bonuses or the share of the revenue, the share of the net profit?
I mean, everyone has their own needs. So as I mentioned, we have like a layout. If it's salaries for everyone from start to the end. Not you limiting someone and just saying at the end of the year, no. Everyone has their own salary. Everyone has their more of, if we end the year and see that now the team deserves like some bonuses, then well and good. But if the year wasn't that good and there are no sort of bonuses, just ensure that all salaries have already been paid, all company expenses have already been paid. And that's how you pretty much operate your finances. So make sure you have a well laid out structure that operates the whole internal processes that you have.
Yeah, true. As in financial misappropriation is a thing that is killing startups, which I've promised, and you have spoken so well about it. So thank you on that ground. So I just want to ask an interesting question. Have you ever watched this series called Succession? You watched Succession on Billions?
Not really, but
Silicon Valley.
He doesn't have the time.
Different. I think similar sort of series that pretty much showing you the startup ecosystem and how to operate one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to watch Silicon Valley. I don't know whether Mal, have you ever watched Silicon Valley?
No, but I've watched Succession.
Hebu mwachini Silicon Valley wewe. But
I see. I
yeah,
see. It's something that's usually it's promoted by a lot of tech bros. So I should watch it. I will.
yeah, Silicon Valley is quite interesting. As in, it kind of opens your eyes to things like raising, things like, and I found it very interesting because uh, this group this group, it's kind of a comedy. Actually, it's kind of a comedy, and these guys are founding companies, and then their ideas are getting stolen. Like it's just the real ghetto of founding, and so I found it very interesting. Yeah, so thank you so much, Collins. Mal.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, now that you are expanding in South Africa, una mipango mingine ya kuingia nchi jirani kama Tanzania, or going to, Rwanda, which is coming up in the tech space, Uganda, you're not really talking about our neighbors or brothers and sisters. So any plans or any future plans from the Kyanda Africa community or organization that you're excited about in 2023? Something you are allowed to share with us?
Yeah, so how let me first answer the neighboring country expansion rather. So and I would answer it this way. When you're in school, or rather when you're in university and you hear someone is going abroad to go and
Yeah.
study.
Yeah.
So, and when you compare the studies in abroad, in a way, watu dhani ukienda kusomea huko majuu wewe ushaomoka, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's the same way with us, that we thought, let's not first school within our neighborhood. Let's go school a bit far from our neighborhood ecosystem.
Smart. Yeah.
So, and then now once we are done with school in there, we shall come back and now continue probably our masters or our PhD within our neighborhood. If it's not going to work, then we'll go school again in a different geographical area.
They
So,
say
yeah,
you are accepted by people who are far away than your immediate family. So yeah, it's a good strategy.
for sure. So that, yeah, in a way, we pretty much, I mean, the African ecosystem, we share the same sort of markets. So in some areas like East African markets, you find that it's just the same as Kenya. You'll find that mobile money is too much in that ecosystem. But when you look at the South African markets, like Southern African ecosystem, like South Africa, Botswana, Lesotho, just within Malawi, just within the South African ecosystem, you find that it's a bit different. So for us, we think we first go set up in these different point geographical areas like Central Africa, like Eastern Africa, like Southern Africa, Western Africa, and Northern Africa. Let's first have like one sort of station in each of these main geographical areas. Then let's first learn how they operate, how they do their things. Then we plan to expand within their neighborhood. So if it's Northern Africa, if we've spotted Egypt, yes, we stay for like Egypt for one or so years. We examine the market even before thinking of launching here. So once we launch, then we start thinking of expanding out to the neighboring countries, because they share the same markets. So yeah, so pretty much that's what we do to expand within different areas, and that's what we think of doing probably this year. You might see us in Tanzania, you might see us in Uganda. The good thing, they've opened up Ethiopia. Ethiopia was very hard to penetrate for so many years.
Yeah.
So, and even Somalia. I mean, guys, Somalia is not a bad country. People just interpret it. But to be honest, if you look at the good side of Somalia, then you will know that they have a blessed country. So it's not only that us hearing it's all about the bad or negative side of it. I mean, tusikue watu wa BBC wenye wakikuja kufanya interview, they look at the bad sides of a country.
Yeah.
It's one of the bad things that I don't know the media does, but it's also the good side of these countries. If you look at, let me give you an example. If you look at Dubai, you know that in Dubai there's someone who begs on the street, but you'll never be shown that. People in Dubai, or rather the media stations that focus on Dubai, they'll always show you the tallest building, show you the good side of it. But
The
when you go to
tourists.
Dubai
Yeah.
and physically walk around, you'll see things that you never thought of. I have a friend who went to, was it Texas in America?
Mm-hmm.
They showed us people begging or even sleeping on the streets. But when you look at Texas on Google, unaona to the good side of it.
Yeah.
So we pretty much have good markets in within Africa, but people sort of misinterpret them. So yeah, that's our goal, and that's we are looking at expanding into different areas this year.
Mm.
So be on the look. I don't want to expose or rather do
Say
some
too much.
free leakage, but
Yeah.
yes, please expect more of new markets from us. We think expanding into different markets gives us more stable foundations for us to scale quickly. By the time someone thinks of bringing that same solution in Western Africa, we've already brought it there. We've already secured our farm routes in like one country, so it's just for us to expand very quickly. I mean, even for me, just to add on, like, let me give an example of Western Africa, the
Mm-hmm.
francophone countries. Once you
Yeah.
expand into one francophone country, then
It's
you
easy
have
to
access to
replicate.
all just
Mm.
in seconds, because people just think, hey, if this one is in Senegal, then let me use it here in Liberia. Let me
Yeah.
use it here in different areas. So pretty much that's what we use to expand, and that's what we envision for this year. So we will have so many markets, we'll have so many so disruptive solutions that will disrupt the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you say, so God help me.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see most startup founders usually are low-key Pan-Africanist. I've heard you talking about, the good sides of Africa. So it's really a good mentality to have, especially when you're trying to build for Africa. And as we just wind up this session, outside of work engagements, as far as travel is concerned, where would you like to visit? If it were not for work engagements, what's a country, a place that you like to see just to, kubarizi too.
Kubarizi. So there's this
Kubarizi.
country called Mongolia.
Uh-huh.
Uh, one place enye nimeweka alama hiyo, nimewekea star tu, nikasema hiyo nitakuwa huko
Unasikia?
Mongolia. When I was young, I used to
Yeah.
watch CCTV news. Kuna news kama hiyo. It's a Chinese based news agency.
It's
So they
still
used
there.
to
Yeah.
do, yeah, it's still there. They used to
Yeah.
do documentaries for Mongolia. I mean, I used to enjoy seeing how those people, they are still not digitally enabled, but how they still
Advanced.
go
Hmm.
fetch their waters using, I don't know, buckets zenye zimeshonwa na reeds,
Yeah.
and the water is not. I mean, the place is so good. So that's one of the places I've always looked to visit, and I'm looking forward to visit.
Interesting. I didn't expect that sort of answer. I was expecting Bali, the common places that are usually hyped. So yeah, it's nice. Maybe we'll have you another session at the podcast, and you'll tell us more about when you visit Mongolia or other advancement that you're making on Kyanda Africa. And we are looking forward to
Yeah.
seeing you do great things in the African space. And we will be here to hype you up and talk about it when it finally happens. It's been our pleasure to have you on this space. I'm hoping the guys who listen to this will love it. And we are looking forward to seeing what Kyanda Africa will do and see you win more awards. And yeah, we are here to just hype you up and be there. So we are glad that you came to the podcast. And thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today.
Most welcome, and thank you for the support as well. I think we
Yeah.
need these frequent exposures for us
It,
to
yeah.
keep on scaling and keep on growing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much, Collins. And where are your offices located in Kenya? Your physical offices?
In Kenya, we are at Trio Complex next to Garden City Business Park, second floor, far east wing.
Oh, nice. I'll pass by on your birthday and drop you a hamper from Tech.
You are serious
Thank
about
you.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, from one
Looking forward.
co-founder to another. So yeah, what are your handles on maybe Twitter or LinkedIn that people can follow you and maybe see more if they want to see any updates from Kyanda or you personally?
Yeah, cool. So personally, you can always find me. I'm quite active on social media.
Yeah.
Collins Kathuli all across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And I was influenced to join TikTok by my office team members. So yeah, I joined TikTok. And I think I uploaded one video, but I shied off. I just imagine myself going viral for just uploading a funny
Yeah,
TikTok
yeah,
video. But
twerking. Yeah.
All publicity is good publicity. Don't try publicity.
for sure, for
No,
sure.
I see twerking doesn't look good.
So yes, I mean, if
As
the
long as it's not for the wrong reasons, you're good.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So
You can
it's
just
been
tell
a
how
pleasure.
you see them involved in being like TikToks and etc. Yeah. So
Dance,
find me on
dance.
TikTok,
Feel free.
on LinkedIn, Collins Kathuli, all across the social media platforms. And of course, the same for Kyanda Africa. You can find them on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and even you can Google us and learn more.
Wow, thank you so much. We have really learned a lot about your company and what you guys do, and we're hoping to see more. It's been a pleasure having you, and thank you so much. Until next time, that has
Thank
been
you.
Specia Tech. See you.
Yeah, bye bye.